Holy smokes, Sirink. Not funny. Elon Musk and Donald Trump just sank the crypto market. Hi, wonderful people. And stunned everyone the European Central Bank did. I was at a wedding, my wife's cousin's wedding. Hence, as you can see, I'm dressed rather more elegantly than normal. And, oh my gosh, I was thinking about this at the wedding. What is occurring? And so wild, crazy day, crazy narrative, how this is influencing the crypto market. We'll go over the reasons the market was selling off. Actually, I am going to do. There was a particular schedule under effect. While I was, throughout the day here, since we didn't have a middle video today, and it just kept shaping up and got bigger and stranger and weirder. I was sort of developing the film. We'll discuss all that. Though we're down today, all I ask is that you smile beautifully to transmit the positive good emotions. It's good. Positive energy, likes influence, XRP's price, hence smishity bash that like button. One is better the more likes one has. Wink wink. Indeed. Naturally, the two have no association. As always, let's start this. XRP is right now at $2.09, down by 4.63% on the day. Ethereum is down 7% today. The Bitcoin is down minus 277. My voice isn't sounding great. Here, it starts off conventional and then, it becomes like a nightclub. And it's a big party, especially if it's Thursday night. I'm not sure how the weddings are in the US or the UK. Her relative resides in Tel Aviv and is really young as well. They had one DJ at first, then another DJ from France arrived. I have no idea what was happening there. My voice is not doing very good, hence it was rather loud. Thus, that's the reason you should hear my voice breaking. It is not related to their price movement. Bitcoin thus nearly reached the 100,000 threshold, but it was able to recover at $1,767. Ethereum suffered greatly and dropped minus 7%. SUI dropped somewhat at almost 7%. SOL declines 5%. Thus, the crypto market suffered greatly here, even if, the stock market did retreat. But it was not that severe. Like with cryptocurrency, it was fascinating. High, I wouldn't call them high risk, but assets that have gone up a lot abruptly, I noticed plummeting 7%, even more in crypto. And naturally, Tesla went through Ghazi down over 15%. We shall discuss the reasons behind that. Thanks Elon Musk and Donald Trump. However, it was fascinating as it began the day with the European Central Bank lowering interest rates by 25 basis points to 2%, marking its ninth rate cut. This brings European interest rates to the lowest level they have ever known since early 23. And in the United States, nothing. Fed? Exactly. It was also fascinating since jobless claims exceeded anticipated levels somewhat. This implies that the jobless claims were greater. That suggests more likelihood of the Fed lowering interest rates. But if we travel through the probability, wow, extremely white. Going to the probability, it essentially didn't change. I considered changing to my classic black shirt, but we just got home and my wife seems to be at 2:30 a.m. I wanted not to disturb her in the room. She turned in for sleep already. And then I noticed how incredibly white this was. Still, we'll let her sleep. I wish not to annoy her. Your eyes will thus have to cope with this reality that is present here. When the job reports arrived, they were fascinating, as I was seated on the computer, and the market actually rose when they arrived. Surely. It was rising. Job reports arrived just here, exactly here. And XRP started rising, and Bitcoin started rising as well. And then, right, we watched the market tumbling over a cliff, right, quickly and unexpectedly. Now this surfaced on news that Trump, the president, had a trade-related phone discussion with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Now, I suppose many will allege that Elon Musk's and Donald Trump's fighting caused the markets to collapse. I subscribe to a rather different theory. Yes, this got out, but also for that, we never heard anything from Trump on what was mentioned. I believe he would have said anything if something worthwhile had emerged from the discussion. Yes, since he typically celebrates, although someone remarked that there is quickly, yes, but there was silence about it. No tweet, no nothing at all. Thus, it was just a few minutes once that came out, correctly. Then all of a sudden, sell-off. Then it continued, becoming stronger. And they were fighting when this was occurring. Yes, still there were plenty of rolling liquidations underfoot, and the stock market was not suffering all that much either. Leverage of about $1 billion got used, shorted apologies, liquidated mainly on the long 827. People were thus leveraged up here, largely with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Yes, mostly Bitcoin and Ethereum, however, also others. XRP also has 21 million, practically 22 million, 300 million Bitcoin. Ethereum, 232 million. Ethereum thus practically matches Bitcoin in terms of importance. That is why it is suffering greatly, 7%. You know, this occurs occasionally when things are leveraged up since Ethereum has risen so much within the past few weeks. Here people were leveraged up and experienced a minor long squeeze towards the downside. And looking forward now will be quite fascinating. You know, right? This 93,000 level worries me still, even if you have been religiously viewing the channel. And with this retreat, we may find that level once more. But from the daily chart, you know, Bitcoin is oversold. We are thus oversold. But on the other side, we still have this gap. And the market freaked out a little bit too today. We shall thus see. I will thus never advise you to buy, sell, or hold either. Of course, not financial guidance. You have to accomplish this before you made the investment decision. I have no idea what daily events will bring. I had no idea Donald Trump and Elon Musk were about to have a feud. Surely? Not at all. Let me say this. Once more, I'll say it. Donald will present it, and then take it away. Yes. And thus, we find ourselves in this state and have to exercise great caution. I explained to you, I'm cautious here. And I know a lot of you are in the comment area saying, Avi, the reason I keep returning to your channel is, of course, your horrible bad jokes. Someone mentioned chocolate, and I needed a second to figure out what they meant. I looked like my wife. Then I wondered whether I looked like chocolate. Uncertainty exists, but then I recall that, you know, occasionally people advise that eating some chocolate helps one relax. That is thus what I believe he or she was referring to, but also because they provide you an objective viewpoint. Correct? I am not very extreme on one side or on the other. You know, I strive to provide you the beautiful, the ugly, and the good and the terrible. One day honey, one day onion, sometimes